Well, here we are with another episode of Real Arsenal Talk. Your hosts, Larry and Stevie, what's going on? How was your bank holiday weekend?
Yes,
Easter and all that.
Good in the hood, so to speak. Not much.
Christ has risen. If just in case for people celebrating out there.
Yeah, just for those people that do believe. But yeah, no, just kids off work. Can't complain really. Wish I was at work, but hey ho. Yeah, how done about yourself? Have you been up to wiping your ass or?
Well, luckily I am right-handed, so I can do that with no problem. But but anything with the left hand, no, definitely not. I can't. The problem is that that I'm struggling to open crisp packets and chocolate and chocolate bars, that type of stuff. I'm struggling to open those packets because obviously you need two hands. So I've kind of had to make use of my teeth to
obviously
to get them open.
This is a kid-friendly show, so I won't go into too much detail. But obviously, when you won't use it, I don't. But obviously, when you use your left hand, if you haven't used it for a long time, it feels like obviously someone else is doing it for you. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I've thought of this new thing because of my arm obviously being in a sling. It's called suspended masturbation. It's kind of a trick, really. I'm not going to show it on camera. But that's what I call it. So yeah, left hand.
TMI.
Yeah, exactly that. But anyways, look. Enough of that stuff. The weekend's been all right. Football, I guess, some sports, F1, all the usual suspects.
Do you want to do the F1 first, or do you want to wait till the end, or what do you want to do?
Do you know what? Let's try a bit of F1 because obviously Arsenal did what they needed to do, and it was against Ipswich, for God's sake. It's like facing Tottenham. Do you know what I mean?
Talk about it, but we'll do a bit of F1 if you want.
A bit of F1, yeah. I mean, I've thought that was a very good race, to be honest. All in all, I really, really enjoyed that, especially the battle at the top with the top 7, 8, it was sort of in that realm. But I thought it was enjoyable. What do you think of it? Did you?
I liked it. I mean, obviously, you'll probably go more in depth about it. But I think the start was great, obviously for obvious reasons. And what I thought about, obviously, initially, my thoughts on Verstappen, and I do admire him. I do think he's a great driver. Mm-hmm. If he'd have just relinquished first place straight away, he would have obviously had a better chance. But because he carried on, we all know that the 5 seconds. But yeah, it was a good race. I thought. Obviously, I'm a Hamilton fan, and I don't know what's happening there. Leclerc seems to have obviously got the Ferrari, which he's been there a long time, so you understand it. But I don't know what's happening with Hamilton. I don't know if his head's gone or he's just. What do you think?
With Hamilton, I think Ferrari brought him in for the rule change. In all fairness, I think that's why they brought him in. I don't think this was the year for them.
Sorry.
So for 2026, the
next year, isn't it?
Yeah. So next season's obviously the rules change, the cars will change as well, and so I think that's what they brought him in for. I don't think Hamilton signing to Ferrari now, like for this year, I don't think it was meant to be any title fights, in all fairness. If it was, by the way, if that was the indication so far, it is going completely the opposite, as in, you might as well put Ollie Behrman in that car and he'll do a better job, to be fair. So I think that's what I think about Hamilton being at Ferrari, and so far disappointing. He hasn't got the grips with the car yet, and obviously you can't really compare him with Leclerc because Leclerc's had that version of the car since 2022, so, well, not that exact same version, but there's been developments. But he's driven that car, and the Ferrari's never been the same as like a Red Bull or a Mercedes. They've had their own issues outside of the strategies. But yeah, so I think. Go on.
Sorry to interject there. I
do it.
Obviously, obviously Tsunoda's kind of a different comparison, but Antonelli's gone to Mercedes and he's kind of got to grips with the car straight away. And Hamilton, he's a 6-time world champion. Surely he could get a grips with the car. And I don't know I know he likes his car set up completely different to anyone else's, so that might be an issue. I don't think he's gelled with the team yet. I just think his attitude stinks sometimes, and I think this team might be kind of like, who the fuck are you kind of thing. This is Ferrari. You do it our way. I don't know. Something's not right, is it?
No, I think with the latest comments that there were, the radio comments that there were, conversations, sorry, that they were having, you know, with the whole Plan B, Plan C, and they were saying C. It's like, okay, I get that it is Ferrari, but at the same time, you know, you have to appreciate that you have got a 7-time world champion who is a British speaker, like an English speaker. Fair enough. Okay, look, tell him before the race starts, say, look, we will reply to you in Italian. You know, for simple yes or no, we will reply to you in Italian, C or no, right? Fair enough. Okay, if they tell him that, that's fine. That is up to Hamilton to understand that. But if they go in, can we stay on Plan B, and then they go C, it's like, well, hang on a minute, what are you actually saying? Because again, there is that language thing. And personally, I can't really put that on Hamilton. You know what I mean? Yes, okay, like I said, it is Ferrari and it is a legendary team. Anyone, obviously, you know, they'll be lucky to drive for that team. But you know, sometimes they have to just, you know, calm themselves down a little bit, because they haven't won a championship in coming up nearly 20 years. In 20 years, they haven't won a championship. So it's like, yeah, just let's be a bit patient with you know, with the last world champion sort of thing, you know, because he has earned it. You know, yes, obviously he had the car, but give him the car, Ferrari. Give him the car, and he'll do exactly what he did at Mercedes. So, you know, as much as, yes, it's a bit weird that a guy with that much experience hasn't, you know, got to grips with that Ferrari. At the same time, it's like, well, okay, but the team needs to help him integrate a little bit better, so for when next year comes, it's like, right, okay, we know exactly where we stand during radio comments, see, no, whatever it is that you're going to speak to me in Italian, whatever it is, right? We need to iron that out, because again, right now it just isn't working, and this wasn't the first incident. I think there was the last couple of races that they've had some problems during radio communication. So yeah, it is disappointing, but there are circumstances around that disappointment, you know, where, and again with Ferrari, they announced Lewis Hamilton a year ago. You know, they had a year to develop, or, you know, close to developing a car for him, and yeah, just so far they haven't. They've just concentrated on Leclerc, which is fair enough, fair dues, but you know, like I said, you've got a 7-time world champion there, so
6, is it 6 or 7? I can't remember.
7, yeah, it's 7. Should be an 8, but it's 7.
No,
I had to mention that.
It's like he was being announced a year. I know obviously he hasn't been driving for a year, but you kind of think, well, if they develop the car, you know, and they're giving Leclerc, like, they always have a number 1, don't they, number 2, but surely Hamilton's a better driver. Give Hamilton all the tools and the toys to become potential world champion, because he's obviously a better driver than Leclerc. Yeah. So give him the better car and see what he does. I don't see that both cars should be set up the same, and they both should have the same kind of upgrades, which I know they probably do, but they should have the same equipment to both of them. They shouldn't give one. Do you know what I'm saying? Is like when he was at Mercedes and he was the number 1 driver, he had kind of everything, he had all the tools as such, and he got preferences and things. But surely now he's as an ex-7-time world champion, he should have the equivalent, if not better, equipment than Leclerc. Surely,
yes.
You know what I mean? It's nonsensical, really.
I agree, and I think I just don't really like the whole when team principals come out and go, "There's no number 1 and number 2," when, you know, facts and numbers suggest otherwise. And I'm not saying that they're not preferring Hamilton. Maybe it is just up to Hamilton to get to grips with that car. Maybe Ferrari think, yeah, we have got a winning car here. You just need to get to grips with it. So, you know, it's difficult. I mean, it's only been what, 4 races, hasn't it? 4 races?
4.
Yeah, 4 races so far, so like you can't really make your mind up. And this is something that frustrates me actually when I watch Sky Sports F1, or, you know, listen or watch these F1 pundits. You know, they sort of start writing drivers off from the beginning. You know, like for example, Lando Norris won the first race. Oh, that's it now, he's on the way to being champion. I mean, he hasn't proven anything in the last 3 races to be considered that. If anything, Piastri has clearly overtaken him. And in terms of wins in F1, Norris has 5 from 133 starts compared to Oscar's 50 starts and 5 wins. So, you know, at that point, if I was Zach Brown, I'd be like, well, there is a clear number 1 here. You know, this guy has got the champion mind state. Let's just see what happens and push it. So, you know, there is different things that going back to Ferrari that they can do to accommodate Lewis, but it's still way too early to make any definitive judgment on how Lewis's Ferrari career started or finishes or whatever. But like I said, personally, I just think they've got him for next year because he's usually quite good at grasping the rules. I think that's probably what they're going to do. So. Yeah,
I think, like you say, I think Piastri is kind of a clear title favourite. I think he has got the bit between his teeth, and I think he potentially is going to push Verstappen closer than probably Norris. Obviously, Norris has been there. He's had more races as such, but I do think Piastri's kind of a better driver at the moment, isn't he? I think Norris is trying a bit too hard, hence his crash in practice and stuff like that.
It was qualifying. It was qualifying, by the way.
10th, he finished fourth, so he did do well, to be fair, to come back to that. But getting back to Hamilton, like he said, he said basically this year's kind of been written off, which is a bit defeatist, really.
I don't think. Sorry,
it's mind games or whether it is just a defeatist attitude before races. In, like you say, how many years? It's a 20 or something. It's come on. We can still win the championship, but
absolutely, and I totally agree. This could literally be the first 4 races where he's been shit, and then for the next 18 or whatever it is, he's just going to smash it out. Like, absolutely, I agree with you. And this is, like I said, this is what frustrates me with these F1 pundits. They have this sort of like feel about them where it's like, oh well, I know more about F1 than you do, and you don't really get that with football punditry, because everyone's got their own opinion, or that's how it should be. But with these F1 pundits, they're like, oh well, I know more than you, so I think it's going to be this, and I don't agree with that, because it's like, well, I can see what's happening. You can tell me that Lando Norris is going to be strong, but the last 3 races he hasn't been, and again he crashed out in qualifying. So that is ridiculous, by the way, for a championship, sort of a contender to crash out in qualifying like that, just with no pressure on him whatsoever. I don't think he's got the mental state, and I don't really care what F1 punditry tells me. It's like, oh, this Lando and that. It's like, yeah, okay, I get he's British, and I know you're going to love him and support him as the next Lewis Hamilton, but unfortunately, facts are not going his way. Yeah, they're just not right now. And I just don't think there's going to be another British driver who's going to achieve what Lewis has achieved. I don't think that's going to happen for at least for a very, very long time, for the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I think this season, though, like you say, I think it is. I don't think it's going to be one driver's going to run away with it like last few seasons.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's going to be great. I do think Norris will come back into it, and I think Piastri will stick around as well. So I think it's going to be 3 drivers. So I'm hoping it is, because I don't want it to be a procession every week where one team runs away with it, one driver as such. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I do hope Ferrari come into it, and I want obviously Hamilton to do well. I want him to sort of push Leclerc and become like the dominant Ferrari driver. Whether it'll happen sort of halfway through the season, maybe our expectations are too high at the moment. We want him to do well from the off, which obviously he's not going to. But by 6 races in, he might have got the grips with it, and he might be getting close. I mean, he was a second off, wasn't he? He was virtually a second off Leclerc at one point. And I'm thinking, fucking hell, he can't be that bad. Has he lost his mojo? He can't have, because he's, we all know he's a great driver, but sometimes I'd be the same if you're in a winning car constantly, week in, week out, year in, year out, and then you become like, you're sort of 3rd, 4th all the time, and then now you're 5th, 6th, and the motivation must be so difficult to get yourself back up there, because you want to be that number 1 driver all the time. But like you say, it's cyclical, and has his motivation dropped so much? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of all different scenarios, because we all know how good he is, but he's 40. He's not 25, 30.
True.
He's 40 years old. His reactions, his flexibility and things like that, and fitness is probably, I know Alonso's 42, I think.
Yeah, 42.
I don't know. Let me make
I think with Hamilton, so he finished about 31 seconds behind Leclerc, and the only thing that's sort of given me hope, or thinking where Lewis can be good, and get some great points for Ferrari this season, it's because when you look at Leclerc, and it's not like he's finishing first. Do you know what I mean? Yes, he's qualifying like quite highly up, but in terms of race pace, it's not like he has, whether it's strategy calls, whatever it is, but it just doesn't seem like he has that extra push to go up against, like a Lando Norris, for example. Maybe obviously the McLaren's got a faster car anyway, but that's the only thing that's sort of giving me hope. Where it's like if Leclerc was winning the last 3-4 races and coming out on top, and Hamilton was finishing 30 seconds behind, then it's like, okay, yeah, that's a problem now. Whereas where they are at this point, fourth and what was it, sixth or seventh? What was it, seventh? Where did he finish? Seventh. So he finished seventh, third and seventh. It's like, okay, yeah, Leclerc, I'm glad that he got a podium because he fought for it. He did fight for it. But yeah, and I think with Hamilton, that's kind of making me think, all right, let's just see what the next few races bring. By race 10, if it's the same sort of results, then yeah, it is a write-off at that point, because you're probably going to be too far behind, even though it will be 3-4 drivers fighting for it. It's just for Hamilton, I think it'll be too far behind, too many points to catch up on. But before we move away from F1 chat, by the way, I just wanted to say Sainz and Albon. Williams 8th and 9th, and then you've got Isaac Hadjar, which is the RB driver, the young driver. He finished 10th. I think that's like maybe 3 races that he's finished up with points, and I'm glad that the Williams are up there as well. I love to see it.
Just quickly, I saw the start, then I saw the crash, and then I had to nip out, and I came back in, obviously. But what happened to Gasly?
So with Gasly and Tsunoda, they just came to...
They crashed on the first lap, didn't they?
That's right, yeah. That's right, yeah.
Where did Gasly qualify? Was it like quite high or not?
I think it was like 6th, maybe. I think it was 6th.
I know Hamilton got a good start, didn't he? Because he made up quite a few places, and then he sort of dropped back again after the pits and stuff.
Gasly was 9th, so he qualified 9th. So obviously, he could have got it in the points. But what's funny about that is that during the Martin Brundle's grid walk, he had a conversation with Flavio Briatore, which is the exec for Alpine.
Wasn't he Bennett? Briatore? He was, wasn't he, Bennett? He was Bennett.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So he won with Michael, didn't he? And then he went to Renault. Then he won with Alonso as well, back in the mid 2000s. But he was asked by Martin. He said, do you have any? What's your prediction for Gasly? He goes, P6. And Martin was like, bit ambitious that, like, do you know what I mean? He said, well, that's what I'm dreaming of. And the funny thing about that is, literally, his race did not even last 6 seconds. Do you know what I mean? From start to crash, I don't even think it was well within 10 seconds. Do you know what I mean? It was incredible, and I laughed.
At the start, then, do you think Piastri was in the right, or do you think he was in the wrong? Because what I saw, I thought he got ahead of him, and then obviously Max does, he never sort of relinquishes the lead if he's got the corner. As such, he's kind of a bit stubborn and a bit bullish like that, and it causes issues, and people get scared of him because of that. But I kind of think Piastri had the inside. The first corner, I think he did get ahead of him slightly, and I thought it was down to Max to kind of drop back, but obviously Max being Max, he won't really.
I mean, when you first watch that, you do sort of go straight to the fact that Max, what the fuck, man, just let him crack on, and then you can catch him within a couple of laps. You could have caught him back up instead of getting the 5-second penalty. But to be honest, when you watch it on replay, you actually see that Max has got to the corner first. Yes, obviously Piastri had the inside line because that's where he started from, but technically Verstappen was at the corner first.
Yeah, I thought, see, I've read different reports,
but the way that obviously
telemetry and things like that, and I think they said that when they've studied it, that even though Max kind of then became ahead of him, but I think Piastri actually got to the corner, or then wherever
got to the apex.
The apex, yeah. I think he actually got to there first, and then obviously Max broke a bit later, so it looked like he was slightly ahead. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it made for great racing, really. And
it did.
That's what happened. So.
It was interesting to see both obviously, two of the fastest drivers on the grid go at it, and again, I'm glad that it didn't end up in an accident, because no one wants to see that, especially from them two anyway, because again, it did turn out to be some good racing and some good strategies as well from both teams, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right in a sense that Max was a bit faster, obviously had to brake later, which led to him sort of going up that way. I don't think Oscar pushed him or anything like that, to be honest. For me, if he'd given the position back, I think that would have been just the end of it. But like you said, Max being Max, he had to.
It would be interesting if them two ever come to another corner where there wasn't a run-off area. I think that would be really interesting, because I think Dirty Max would probably do a Schumacher on Damon Hill all those years ago and take him off the track. Who knows? But yeah,
he did it on Villeneuve as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I like the fact that Piastri's kind of doesn't take it. He doesn't take any shit either. I think he's kind of a bit bullish as well, which will make some fantastic races. When's the next one? In a couple of weeks or something like that, is it now?
Yeah, so a couple of weeks now. It's a 2-week break now, finally, because we had like a triple header. So, and I think it's Miami next, maybe. I think it's Miami next.
American next.
Yeah, American next. Yeah, so it'll be late watching rather than early watching. But yeah, so yeah, look, in terms of the whole thing, it's going to be very, very good, because Piastri he's strong-headed. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He reminds me like a mixture of Mark Webber and Kimi Räikkönen, in terms of personality, where it's like, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll chat to you if I want.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, and I love it. I love his just dryness when he's being interviewed. It's like, yeah, all right, that happened. He's very matter of fact, and I love it. So, and I'm glad that he is doing better than Norris, to be honest with you, because they just held Lando as this next fucking Mika Hakkinen, where he's going to bring McLaren to glory. Yeah, but yeah, look. Anything else you want to add on the F1 over the weekend? Anything that caught your eye?
Not really. No, I think obviously it's just a shame that Hamilton's not getting there, but we won't dwell on it, because like you say, he's been there and done it for God knows how many years. I just hope he can get to some kind of credibility again, where he's fighting for a podium in the future. But whether he will or not, we'll have to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be very intriguing to see what the rest of the season brings. But yeah, okay. Look, we might as well talk about Arsenal, since that's the title of the podcast.
There's the whistle. Well, quite the week then for Arsenal. For their wonderful night in Madrid. A commanding win here at Portman Road today.
We might as well just do that. Yeah, but we talk about real stuff first, and then real Arsenal. So
yeah, man.
I'm guessing you watched the full match.
Yeah, yes. I think it's normally what happens when Arsenal kind of realise that the league's gone. They play normally the best football, and when we play relaxed football, when there's nothing at stake, everything flows, goals come, and it just seems very, very easy. But you can guarantee if we had to win that game, it would have been a struggle, and we potentially might not have won. So it was what we expected. Yes, it was nice that we got 4 goals. It keeps the momentum going, keeps us kind of in the top 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It was nothing. I mean, the Ipswich guy, I can't remember his name now. He came out and said they're the best. It's the level that Arsenal played. It was the best they've faced all season. Well, yeah, it's a nice compliment, but it's too late. You know what I mean? It's too little, too late. But yeah,
and it's like he caught us in our good period at the beginning, and then he caught us at a good period near the end. Do you know what I mean? So he never faced us in that December, January time where we were absolutely trash. Yeah. So no, thank you very much for that. But it was against Ipswich. He was basically just saying that my team is pretty shit, and they walked all over us, and that's what it seemed like. And to be honest, I didn't even start watching it until I think it was after the red card, because just busy doing other shit, and obviously dealing with this. So and I didn't miss much, and I'm glad that Trossard obviously got his goals and stuff, and I love his celebration. He's back to doing the celebration, by the way.
Yes,
it's Trossard, and Arsenal lead. The goal that be coming right from kickoff here, and the André Trossard scores the opening goal. Trossard, goal number 3.
So he hasn't done that in a while, and I was glad to see it. And and he did it away as well. So it's not like he did it at home.
Man of the match, I think, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah, he got man of the match, and deservedly so, to be honest. So what was it? 2 goals? Yeah, 2 goals. You can't even deny how good he has been for us. In terms of that that Ljungberg sort of role, you know, where coming off the bench, doing his thing, or, you know, even when he starts, he'll cause some damage. So again, I love this run that he goes on, but it's like, can you make this run a bit earlier on in the season where we need it, instead of, you know, having to resort to Merino in you know, as a striker, which again, yeah, as we've discussed many times now, every time we have this conversation, we discuss how good Merino has been for us. Arsenal do not buy a striker, okay? You don't need one. You have got the best guy right there. Don't jinx it, all right? Don't jinx it.
Yeah. Sorry, to be fair with Trossard, obviously the first 20. Did you see the first? You won't have seen the first 20 minutes, will you?
No, I caught it after the red card.
To be fair, he struggled, and I know he obviously got his 2 goals, but he did struggle up to that point. And I was cursing him on the TV. I was thinking, no, you need to be scoring that, or you need to be doing better here, you need to be doing better there. So I know he got his 2 goals, but it was against absolute garbage. You know, it's a bit disrespectful, but it was against Ipswich. You know, and against anyone else, he wouldn't have got those chances, and he wouldn't have probably scored those 2 goals. So. Yeah, I don't think he's the answer. And whether he'll still be here next season, possibly, I'm not sure. But I think an upgrade is needed. I mean, Martinelli could be the substitute, and Trossard could potentially be moved on. You know, I hate saying that, but he'll be 30 next season. Yeah. I think Martinelli potentially offers more. I know headless chicken, but I think he might potentially offer more just because he's quick, and he does offer more as a defensive option.
He does,
yeah. Yeah, he's quite skillful, but I just think we do need an upgrade on him. Personally, that's me anyway. I don't know what your thoughts are on, but up to the first 20 minutes, he was okay. Yeah, he got his 2 goals. He was kind of man of the match, but no one else was doing anything decent, you know. So.
Yeah, I think with Trossard, you're probably right that he's not going to be here next season. But you know, after that celebration, it makes me think that he had a conversation with Berta, and Berta was like, "Look, mate, we need you. All right, so we're going to give you a pay rise or whatever." So he went back to doing his owl celebration, the harbinger of death. That's what he looks like. So I would love to see him stay, to be honest. But at the age that he is he expecting to be a starting 11 somewhere in the Premier League? That's going to be, you know, at Arsenal level? I don't think so. I mean, you know, who's going to bring him in? Liverpool aren't going to touch him. Chelsea, maybe Tottenham would because they're desperate, but you know, they've got Son in that side. So why would he switch allegiance? So unless he goes abroad, that's a whole different conversation, like to a Milan or something, or a fucking PSG or some shit like that. But I would love for him to stay at Arsenal, because he does bring, every time he comes on, he does have the potential to bring something different in terms of tactically. He can make those runs into the centre, whereas, like you said, Martinelli is more of a wingman. So yeah, I would love for him to stay. Chances are that he probably won't. So yeah, he has been good for us though. Speaking of Martinelli though, we've got his 50th Arsenal goal.
Trossard's gone down there off the ball as Saka goes driving on. Merino, Martinelli! Arsenal absolutely flying here. It's a 2-goal lead. It's a 50th Arsenal goal for Gabriel Martinelli.
It's slightly behind Merino, but he deals with it ever so well. Little Cruyff into the path of Martinelli. Whether he meant that, I'm not so sure. Might have been an attempt on goal.
Yep, that was quite impressive.
Very good, yeah. 160 appearances, 50 goals, 1 in 3-ish. Not bad.
It's not bad.
I think I was more impressed with the Mikel assist, really. It was a nice little back heel, wasn't it?
That was beautiful.
Wasn't he? But I think it was a nice little assist.
That was beautiful. I think, so just when the red card happened, it was during that little break where they obviously put the replay on of the Merino pass. That's where I sort of caught it from. But yeah, that was an excellent pass, and just the sort of vision to know, or the awareness to know that Martinelli's going to be there. That's, you know, it just goes down to the squad building and how Arteta puts these guys together, you know. And I'm sure you watched it during the All or Nothing on Amazon Prime when he was like, right, memorize the numbers or memorize the spaces. That's where everyone's going to be, you know. So when you don't even have to look up, and it proves, you know, it proves that it works.
You know what? Do you know, going back to that Amazon Prime carry-on, I've purposely not watched it because I'm kind of a bit embarrassed, because if I watch it, I'll kind of be cringing all the time, because I've heard stories about it. that it's like these light bulb moments and win the dog and just cringy music, and I'm kind of not looking forward. I want to watch it after we've won something. That's the only time I know it's bizarre, but I just think he's doing all these things, and we've failed like 2 seasons in a row. We've now failed 3 seasons in a row. Yeah, if we get the Champions League, I'll be over the moon, and I'll probably watch it then. But something about me, I can't watch it because I'm already borderline Arteta as it is, as you know. And
I think you should watch it. I think it'll change your perspective on how he works. And in all fairness, I really like his way of coaching because Pep is exactly the same. And I watched parts of that Man City All or Nothing as well, and Pep's pretty similar. So I can't be mad at Arteta's methods and that whole thing when the whole wallet stealing or whatever it was. I'll be honest. I know opposition fans laughed at it, and I found that quite sort of outside the box, just to be like, right, make you aware of what's going on, make you aware of your surroundings. And again, as we've said before, football is psychological as well as physical. So yeah, I like what he's done with the team. He's shaped their minds to think differently when they're on the pitch. When you compare this team to the COVID team, even just when Arteta took over, it's not even close. It's not even close. Like look back at that lineup, and I don't want to because I've forgotten that period, but that's the type of stuff that you need to compare it to. I'm not saying compare it to a fucking treble winning team or whatever it is. Just compare it to our Arsenal, which was 5 years ago, and that's why that documentary was actually quite insightful to watch, because how does he get this team working together? And I thought he did. I thought that was brilliant, to be honest, watching that documentary. But yeah, give it a watch. Don't listen to opposition fans because they're all going to hate, but it doesn't matter. In the last 10 years, or in the last 5 years, sorry, it's been between City, Liverpool and Arsenal. There's been no other team that's fought for the league title. So, and think about that 10 years ago, like that would never have happened. We were never there.
No, I agree. It's just the cringy little snippets that I hear about, and I think, will I be
out of context? I'm saying watch it, because then, like I said, you'll get a better understanding of how he is. You may still not like him by the end of it. That's totally fine. I'm not saying it's going to change your opinion or anything, but don't listen to opposition fans and clips online, because they're always going to take it out of context. We'll lose a match, just a random match for whatever reason, officiating or injuries or whatever. They'll clip up something that Arteta said. It's like, oh, look what he said and look what happened. It's like, well, that's just out of context.
Yeah. I understand that. No, and I probably will watch it, and it has been something that I've wanted to do, but I think I'll wait till we get knocked out of the Champions League, or we win the Champions League or whatever, then I will watch it. And yes, my opinion, I do like the psychological aspect of games. I do think it's a lot in the mind. It's probably 50-50, to be fair, and it might even be more, because everything you see, every sport, it's all in the mind. Absolutely. To be the best if your mind's right, you potentially could win. Like you say, Djokovic was the master of it. Just little things, and I understand that. But anyway, we won't dwell on the Amazon thing. But in general, the match, what did you think? I mean, obviously, there was no one that stood out to me. Trossard was okay.
Kiwior, to be honest.
Partey didn't play. You are sorry.
Kiwior, I think was brilliant again.
Going on about bloody.
I love Kiwior. Like, let it be known out there.
To be fair, I'm still got reservations.
Just say it, man. Just say, it's fine. It's fine. People will not remember. They will not clip you up from 5 weeks ago.
Sorry, someone reminded me of this clip of Hakimi going past it. No, it wasn't. It was Hakimi going past Calafiori. Sorry, and I just have this vision of him doing the same against Kiwior, and I don't want to think about it. I hope that Skelly's on and we call out opposition. But anyways,
wow, this took a really dark turn from a 4-0 win against Ipswich, to be honest. Why are we talking about something that hasn't happened yet, man? Like, that's way closer to the time.
Let me get back to a prediction you made. What did you got? I think you got the F1 kind of right. You said Max. Did you say Max would win it?
Max, Russell, and Leclerc.
Oh, that's right. Well, you got two.
And to be fair, by the way, I didn't actually specify in which order. I said podium.
No, I want to get back to the other prediction that you made, which made me laugh when it saw it. It was the Friday night game, was it? No, it was a Saturday night game. Where are we now? We're on Monday. It was a Saturday night game. Oh yeah, Aston Villa are going to get absolutely trounced.
Wait, did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh, I did, didn't I? Yeah, because they had the Champions League tie.
Newcastle are absolutely shitting on Villa, and it was 1-1. I was thinking, hey, you could be right, all big lads are there, but no, it was a good result for us, really.
And that's why I do it. Well, why do I want to jinx myself when I do the opposite?
Yeah. So it's kept them below us. We're 7 points ahead now. I think it was second place, so we can afford two defeats, which, you know.
I mean, it's not ideal, but yeah, if it needs to happen for sacrifice and for what's it called, for the PSG matches, then fair dues, it is what it is. Because, you know, Liverpool need one more win, 2 wins or something like that to officially confirm.
Regardless, so if we beat Palace and they still have to beat Chelsea, is it Tottenham or Chelsea they've got this week?
They play Tottenham.
Yeah, they play Tottenham at home
on Sunday.
Yeah. So even if we beat Palace, is it irrelevant or?
No, I think. They are, what was it, 13 now, is it?
13 clear.
Yeah, 13 clear. So I think, maybe you're right. If it's not this week, next week, they'll be definitely winning. Yeah, oh God. Oh my God, it's going to be at our place, isn't it?
Their place, sorry.
Oh, thank God, Harry. But yeah, I don't want us to give them a guard of honour. I just don't want to see it.
It's going to be so ironic. It's going to be horrible, isn't it?
Oh God, Arne Slot with his bald head.
I know, it won't bother me if we're in the final.
True.
It won't bother me. If we're third, second in the league, it won't bother me. Honestly, I'll think, we're in the Champions League final. Yes, they've won the league, but yeah, in Slot's first season, I'm not going to get annoyed.
Don't get annoyed. On
the Liverpool game yesterday, I didn't watch it because I knew obviously what was going to happen.
I watched the first half, by the way.
Did you see the goal that wasn't for Leicester that was supposed to be a foul on Alisson? I mean, what did you make of that? If they'd been the other way around, would you have given it?
I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of was. I don't want to. I don't want to be against my team, obviously, but I just, you know.
When it was slow motion, I mean, I know everything happens. It's not slow motion, but when you look at it.
But that's how they look at it, though, isn't it? Like in slow motion, it's like, I'm sure that's not how life is.
It didn't look like a foul. It was just kind of like, yeah, come on. But keepers are protected so much. And if it had been Leicester conceding, you can guarantee it would have been given. That's the irony and the injustice of the Premier League and Live VAR.
80% yes would have been given, yeah, without saying 100% yes. Absolutely, I agree with you. And I don't think there's been so much as of an agenda against us this season, but you know, when you look at some of the official calls, it's like, what do you want me to think? You know. So, but yeah, in terms of that, look, Liverpool, they struggled, by the way. Like they did not have a good game. Like I said, I watched the first half. They did not have a good game. I turned it off after that. I thought, I don't give a shit, because they probably will win. And Leicester just, you know, they did actually have some good chances. They should have put them away. But you know, they had one winger at number 10. I can't remember what his name was, and he just tore it up. By the way, like Conor Bradley had no idea what the hell was going on. Like that guy twisted him so much, turned him to a pretzel, really. But he was very good, and like I said, Leicester had very good opportunities to score maybe 1 or 2. But Liverpool, you know, as they do, they're quite resilient, and Trent just stepped up and did what he did. I hate that with a passion, because even a draw would have been just so much fun to make him sweat it out till the end. But just, you know,
it was just the inevitable, wasn't it, aspect of every week that goes by. We knew it in January after we didn't sign anyone, and we kind of knew it week by week when we drew or they got beat, and you kind of, they were just prolonging it, and our 2 draws, the last 2 games, would have been just prolonged it a bit longer, and it's just, now it's kind of not happened. Still haven't won it yet, but it's kind of just, you know.
I can't imagine them losing the next 5 games, so.
It's what you can't lose them.
Yeah, I can't imagine them losing the next 5 games. So it's as good as one, to be fair. So, but yeah, look, going back to Arsenal real quick, just on that Saka tackle, by the way, from Davies, like
horrible.
What the actual F?
Play is continuing, and now Saka goes down, and now the referee has stopped it. And Arsenal feeling that some rough tackles are going in.
Right down the Achilles.
Oh, it's a red card.
Yeah, it's an naughty one.
Straight red card shown by the referee, Chris Kavanagh.
What was it? He was miles away. I read something earlier, I don't know obviously how true it is, that Saka allegedly said something to him to upset him, and then apparently he said, well, I'm going to put you injured again, I'm going to make you injured again, or something like that. But it was so far away from the ball, he was nowhere near it, and for him to go down the back of his ankle the way he did, I thought, really? That's all?
That was some malicious stuff, that, by the way. Like, we could have literally broken his ankle. Like that's worth an arrest, to be honest. That is, that is almost GBH, in all fairness. So it was a terrible tackle. Honestly, how many times has it happened to us? Ramsey, fucking Eduardo, almost Saka. It's just a joke, absolute joke.
It's just,
imagine if you just got a yellow for that, by the way. Honestly, I think the Arsenal fans would have just invaded the pitch and killed the ref, to be honest, because that would have been just the biggest load of shit I've ever seen. But yeah, that was a terrible challenge, by the way, and that's what scares me now.
Because the problem is sometimes it's okay if the leg that gets caught is off the ground. It's not obviously as bad, but his foot was planted. His foot was planted. Full force, wasn't he? And I just thought that could have been so much worse. Luckily, obviously he had a light ice pack on it, and I thought I was going to say Wenger then, take him off straight away.
He kept him on.
I know he kept him on, didn't he?
He literally kept him on until. When did he take him off? Until 57th minute. So that's when he took him off, which is all right, but still a bit longer than I would have liked to keep Saka on, to be honest. I think half-time, see you later, mate, it's not happening. You're not playing anymore. But yeah, that's what scares me now for the upcoming matches, because we face PSG, next week?
Yeah, we've got Palace on Wednesday, haven't we?
Palace on Wednesday, and then is it Liverpool?
Yeah, we've got the weekend off, haven't we?
Oh, we've got the weekend off, have we?
Yeah.
FA Cup, is it? What is it?
Yes.
Oh, FA Cup. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, well that's fair enough then. At least even if against Palace you sort of rest them.
Yeah, Palace are in the FA Cup, so they're potentially. I know they'll do it because they're professionals, but they potentially will want to keep their players. They won't want to get injured.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah, I can see that happening. So yeah, does it really help? Even if at 1-0, it's like I just leave it at 1-0, man. Like, when you just need them 3 points and just move on, because I just want to secure that second spot. I know it doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't. And obviously, we're not talking about the money that the team or the squad earns. I just want to keep them a second, just to be like, we were the closest to beating Liverpool if it wasn't for fucking 9 injuries to, in the last 8 months or 7 months or whatever the hell it is, or 12 injuries or whatever it was. So yeah, it's against Palace, I'd obviously put out a decent squad. There's no point. There's no reason why not. Maybe leave Saka on the bench, for that whole match, or if you want to put him in last 10 minutes or something. But yeah, for me, Saka rests. Maybe even Declan Rice. He didn't play, did he, yesterday? Did he play yesterday?
He brought him off at the 70th minute, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Maybe leave. I was going to say leave Rice off, but who else?
You've got to keep all the players relatively fit, but don't flog them as such and don't risk injury. Yeah. So get the job done as such, like you say, and then take them off at half time or whatever, because, like you say, Palace are not going to be gung-ho, even though they're safe in the league and they potentially could be playing for position for the places on Saturday. But again, they're not going to want to get injured because they've got a semi-final against Villa, and they're one game away from the final, aren't they? Really? So
yeah.
I don't know. You probably play the same team, but I just don't want us to. I don't know about you, but I always think you should have played Saka in the second half. Bring Saka on as opposed to starting him, because most teams are going to be up for it, especially away from home. Like you saw yesterday, they're going to be up for it and in for the tackle for the crowd, aren't they? Yeah. They're going to be up for it and put a hard tackle in. It's like the old-fashioned way. Make sure that player knows you're there and you're not going to get time to turn, etc., etc. So I don't know. Obviously, we're at home, so you'd expect us to win. can expect us to win, but it's what team he puts out. I think one year he'll play. He didn't start with Skelly yesterday, did he? He started Zinchenko, which.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, I mean, true, but it literally, with the scoreline, it afforded Skelly for a nice little rest. Maybe even obviously for Palace, or even part of the Palace game. But yeah, I think most likely he will put on a similar team. And just more than anything, just to keep them sharp, because obviously, like I said, we're not playing over the weekend, so just to keep them sharp, just to keep them going. But surely they will obviously have many training sessions between Wednesday and next Tuesday. Do we play Tuesday? Or is it next Wednesday?
I think it's Tuesday.
I think it's Tuesday, right? Okay, because
Wednesday, yeah.
That's right, yeah. So that's that should be good. I hope Amazon Prime shows it, but but yeah. Look, in terms of the league and in terms of Palace match, is there much to really talk about? Like, I don't think there is, to be honest. It's more at this point, it's just looking ahead to the Champions League and making sure that we keep the players that we have available, and hopefully we get a couple more additions like Calafiori. Again, I'm not saying he's going to make any big impact or anything like that, but just in case the PSG players decide to snap our legs, we've got backup there. So that's I think that's where we are at the moment, aren't we? Really, like, most of the Arsenal fan base were just anxiously waiting for these Champions League matches just to see what's going to happen and see if we can hopefully win it for the first time. And
I mean, yeah, going back to what you say, the Palace game, like you say, is a bit of a dead rubber, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
And more than likely, when the like I said to you about the Ipswich game, and more than likely is that we'll probably win comfortably, even if we lost, which I can't see us losing. But even if we did lose, like we're 7 points clear of second place. It would be nice to win and to go 10 clear, because I think Villa play Man City on tomorrow night, which. It's another sort of 6 pointer, really, isn't it? They could slit each other's throat and be a draw, or if Man City win, then I suppose they're going to be third, which put a bit of pressure on us. But like I say, what would you do? What would you rather have? I'd rather finish fifth than win the Champions League. But as long as we don't lose on Wednesday, then like we said about Ipswich, as long as we don't lose, I'll be happy.
It's like you said, it is a tough one, isn't it? But we're just kind of hoping that Unai Emery can bring that same energy that he brought against Newcastle to Man City, and to be honest with you, it's doable. It's totally doable against Man City at this point in time, and they've got decent defenders, Aston Villa. So it won't be out of the realm if they actually cause an upset. An upset. Sorry, I say that as if Aston Villa are a small team. They have proven to be very, very good. I mean, they literally are in the Champions League, or were, in the Champions League. So yeah, I mean. At this point, we really kind of depend. We just need to do what we have to do to just, scrape 1-0s if we need to, where we don't exert too much energy. And as long as we do that, I don't think, I don't really want to rely on other teams to do us favours. Like we've said before, and like no fan does, obviously. But I just hope if we win the next match, I think we should be more than safe for that second place. And I'm just looking at the goal differences, by the way, as well. We've got 61 goals for and 27 goals against. That is literally the lowest in the league.
Yeah, we've got the best defence again.
Unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. But it's that attack, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't. What's interesting is the 2 points separate at the top. The next 5, this is the sort of from 3rd down to 6th, isn't it? Is it 2 points?
So from 3rd to 7th, it's 2 points.
2 points. It's the closest it's been in. I can't remember it being that close.
And I love it because I'm hoping that they will go all out against each other.
Yeah.
Just to, like you said, either win or whatever it is, just destroy each other. That's all we care about.
I know obviously Villa plays City tomorrow night. That would be nice to have a draw. And then Newcastle play Chelsea. Obviously they got a lucky win the other day, but it keeps everyone quite bubbling away close. I know obviously Liverpool play Chelsea, which it might all be over by then, but you never know. Tottenham might do us all a favour and beat Liverpool, who knows? But it could be another one of those scenarios where they beat Man City.
Oh my God, the most embarrassing fan base in all of world football, to be honest. Like, you know, wanting an opposition team to beat your team just because Arsenal won't make it through. It is honestly the funniest thing I've ever heard, and I'm genuinely surprised that Ange stuck it out for another year after that calamity. That was just ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah. So obviously with the third to seventh, it should be a very good run in for them. And as long as, like I said, as long as we just do what we did against Ipswich, I'm not asking for 4 every match. Obviously, you know, I'm not greedy. Just 1-0s, 2-1s. Just scrape a win, basically. That's all I care about.
No injuries. That's all you want.
That's it. Scrape a win with no injuries, and we should be well and ready for the Champions League, and which obviously we'll come back to once we get closer to the time. So after the Palace match, we'll do a pod after then, and then we'll do some discussions. We'll come back over the weekend, so we've got plenty of time to discuss the PSG match and what on earth will happen.
Just quickly getting back to something of a player that potentially could make a return before the second leg. What do you think of that?
Who's this mystery player?
My favourite player.
Well, your favourite player is playing, isn't he? I thought Kivior was already on, wasn't he?
No, he's on a par with Kivior. He's out injured at the moment.
Who else is injured for Havertz?
Yeah,
your boy Havertz. If he is, to be honest, if he plays against Palace, then I can see him making a cameo against PSG in the first match. But if he doesn't play against Palace, I just don't think it's a good idea to put him on. To be honest,
They said he might make. They said he might make the second game against PSG, but to be quite frank, I don't want him. He's not. Look at Saka. How long it's taken Saka to get match fit. He's going to be nowhere near that, is he? So if anything, he might play the last game of the season. But I don't want him anywhere near the PSG. Nowhere near.
Well, considering they said that it was going to be till the end of the season, and then all of a sudden, you know, we were rushing him back. It's like, well, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to rush him back. I want to see him as a fully fit player when he's fully fit. You know, and again,
I don't understand, because he was supposed to be out for the season, but then I thought to myself, well, it's only a hamstring, and if Saka's had an operation, blah blah blah, and they both had a similar sort of. And surely he should be back before. Yeah. But obviously, I don't know what.
It just feels more of a rushed decision, to be honest. I hope it doesn't happen, and again, I have full faith in Arteta, to be honest, because he's not some chump. Do you know what I mean? Where he's like, yeah, let's just put him on, let's see what happens. But I don't want to see him against PSG, and even if we go to the final, maybe it's something that I don't want to see him there either, to be honest.
But can I just say, I don't want to see him anywhere near the Arsenal team because he's shite. Not to get injured again.
No,
because I don't want him anywhere near, because he's absolutely terrible.
I'm not.
Please, I'm keeping Marino in there, honest, please.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you on that. In that respect, yeah, absolutely, of course. Because again, for me, it's because of he's coming back, not because I think Havertz is shit. Just to get that clear for everyone. I rate him very highly, to be honest. And again, if he didn't get injured, I think he would have been a very strong player for us as well. Like during these matches, to the level that Marino's performed, I don't know. Havertz scores goals anyway, so for us and Marino, it's like, well, he's a midfielder scoring goals. That's why it's like, oh my God, that's brilliant. But if Havertz was doing that, we'd be like, well, yeah, he's just doing his job. So I don't know how that would have gone. I don't want to go back in time and find out. Let's just keep it how it is. Because you know the dream may happen. The dream may happen this season. So you know, let's not go crazy. Start bringing crazy players back. Do you know what I mean? Let's bring Cedric back. Let's see how he does. Mustafi, where are you? Yeah, right. Where are you, Mustafi? Come back. Yeah. So I don't want to see any of that, and just keep it balanced as it has been, especially against Real Madrid. And I hope they will know anyway, but I'm hoping that they realise that it will be a totally different match, because PSG are not Real Madrid, and I genuinely think if it was PSG versus Real, PSG would have probably beat them as well, because they're such a better team rather than individuals. The only thing I'd say against PSG is that they put a lot of focus on Dembele as well, which is like, okay, good, but if Saliba shuts him down, then the wings are pretty set with Timber and Skelly. So I'm quite confident, but I don't want to say it out loud.
Just say it.
No.
You're going to lose.
No, I'm not doing it. We'll do predictions closer to the time, and I'll just do some crazy stuff. But Stevie, do you want to add anything else in terms of the upcoming Palace game, or just what you've seen over the weekend? Anything that sort of may have worried you, may have given you a spark of hope?
Not really. I mean, obviously, I think I'm just concerned, obviously, the second place, but Tottenham play Forest tonight. I think it's at the Tottenham Stadium.
Yeah.
Potentially that could just sort of eliminate Forest from getting anywhere near us.
It starts now, doesn't it? It starts now with the teams being eliminated, like from the top top four. Yeah. It starts now with tonight's match. So
yes. So yeah, I'm just hoping that. But I can see a Forest win. To be fair, right?
Yeah.
No, just as long as we win, and then we've got a weekend off. And it's the big one. No injuries, like you say, and then after that, I think it's who is it after the PSG? Is it
Liverpool? I think. Liverpool?
It's not, please.
Was it Brentford? No, it's not Brentford, is it?
It's not.
Let me have a look. Bournemouth. I've got it up right. So PSG, Bournemouth, PSG, Liverpool. Yeah.
Yes, so hopefully we can get like a decent lead. I mean, I can see it being a lot tighter this first leg, and we will talk about it next week, the weekend or whatever. But no, nothing really else to add. Loza, I do want to close it on a bit of a terrible note, because our rivals in Tottenham and Man United are officially safe from relegation. Yes. So that's a bit disappointing, and I'm a bit mad at Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester, to be honest, for not doing a better job and letting one of those twats drop. Normally it's about like 30 odd points, isn't it? And they could have been dragged into it. Yeah, they have been dragged into it, and it's been hilarious to watch throughout the season, to be honest. Especially obviously Man United losing again over the weekend, which is like against Wolves, really. And so they were secure, which obviously they did what they needed to do. They can move on with the season now, whatever happens, so they're safe. Again, Man United and Tottenham, they at this point, literally, even if they lose the next 5 matches, it just doesn't matter. No, it just doesn't make a difference. Just rebuild your squads, basically. It'd be nice to see them both get eliminated during the semis. Oh yeah, because absolutely. We've got a potential player of ours next season in Rico Williams. So they play them, Man United play them, and who does Tottenham play? Is it Lazio or is it Bodo Glimt? I can't remember. It's Bodo Glimt, because they beat Lazio, didn't they? So. Right, yeah. So I'd like, obviously, because I wouldn't want them both in the final, because that would mean one in the Champions League. So I'd like one to get knocked out in the semis and one to make the final, and then just to lose in the final. I'd like to see Tottenham maybe in the final, get beat off Atletico. Look, one of the worst final, because that would just ruin my season. One of the worst things that can happen this season is us finishing second out of the Champions League and both of them wankers winning a European trophy. No. I can't live with that, Stevie. I can't live with it, mate. I've had enough of these opposition fans as it is, and I cannot live with that thought. And I think that is the worst thing that can happen this season. It would be. It's worse than losing the Premiership. That we lose everything and they actually win something. Wouldn't it? Well, think about it. No, I don't want to. No, I think we should end the podcast now, because I'm entering a state of depression. I don't want to talk about that. That sounds horrible, by the way. But do you know what? I would go through breaking my wrist again than hearing that. Like my other wrist. So I'm handless. I'll be hands-free for ages. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about hands-free from Germany. I'm talking hands-free. Seriously, like I don't want to hear that again. I'm going to delete that from the ethos. Right. Do you want to add anything else, by the way, before we bring it to an end? No, it's an early one. I'm going to watch. Hopefully, Tottenham do us a favour. Well, not a favour, but you know what I mean. I'm going to go and watch that match, and look forward to the Wednesday game. And that's about it, really, mate. We'll reconvene at the weekend. See, we'll actually
actually reconvene after the Palace match at some point during the week.
Oh, right, yeah,
maybe Thursday pod for a Friday release, that type of stuff. And then we'll be back over the weekend as well. So yeah, there's plenty to come actually. When you think about it, plenty to do, plenty to watch and analyze. So on that note, I think we'll bring it to an end. And thank you so much for being here, for listening, for bearing with us throughout this.
Have you promoted us, by the way? Have you tried to promote this Carry On?
Yes, I have. Blue Sky. You can find us on Blue Sky. That's where you're going with that, wasn't it? You're right. You're absolutely right. You can find us on Blue Sky app, and you can find us on Spotify. If you're not listening on Spotify already.
Blue Eyes.
And that's our Blue Skies serenade. Thank you very much for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe, stay alert.
CC.